Welcome to the Marketing Pulpit Show, and I am Robert Gatewood, your host. We are here every Friday at 10:30 a.m. bringing you the good of marketing gospel. We're not saving souls, you're saving businesses, saving jobs, saving our community. Now, if I happen to save a soul along the way, don't hold that against me. We'll just call that icing on the cake. Now, the mission at Marketing Pulpit Show is to build strong businesses in our community so that we can put our people to work. And we do that with business development, job creation, and service. So if you ever find yourself in a business crossroads and not sure which way to turn, just turn on the Marketing Pulpit Show because we are on a mission. The show is broadcast live from the illustrious Radio 1 studio. Good morning, good morning, good morning, and good morning. Welcome to the Marketing Pulpit Show. I'm Robert Gatewood, your host, and we're here every Friday bringing you the good marketing gospel. We're not here to save your soul. We're here to save your business, your livelihood. And we do that every Friday right here, bringing you customer service, business development, marketing, branding, advertising, and good old-fashioned get down, roll up the sleeve, and let's do this work. I am your host. I am a business developer by trade. I have a company called Gatewood Marketing and Web. I'm also an adjunct professor at Prince George's Community College, where I teach marketing and branding and PR and social media and networking and you name it. I also written a couple of books. I'm also dabbling in the government space as a subcontractor with the Small Business Administration. Worked in several agencies, the FAA, the Department of Labor, so forth. And so I bring you a wealth of knowledge and a host of people backing me up that I've worked with, some amazing clients, some I'm still engaged with right now. And so I'm here every Friday to try to help bring knowledge and lay down a foundation so that we can help the businesses in our community so that we can build a strong financial foundation and to tackle some of these problems that seem to find themselves in our community. Tell you, boy, sometimes a good old financial base can solve a multitude of ills. And so I'm happy to join you this morning, as I do on every Friday. Good morning to Platinum. Ms. Franklin, thank you for joining this morning. And we have an exciting show today. We're into the month of October now. A lot of things going on. We just came off of an election everybody's talking about. We're going to dabble into that a little bit. Matter of fact, later in the show, I'm going to talk about, let's say you took this gut punch. You didn't like the outcome of this election or some other things that may have happened in your life. Is there something empowering about taking that gut punch? What do you do next? Do you lay down and wallow in a fetal position? Or do you get up and fight? Well, I'm going to give you some advice on what I think is the appropriate action when you take that punch to the gut and you feel like the unthinkable has happened and you kind of lost the will to go on. Then we're going to tackle that in our marketing sermon today called Gut Punch. When the unthinkable has happened, what next? We're going to talk about that later on. Find out more about the show by going to marketingpulpit.com. We have the show right on the homepage of the website. You can also find us on LinkedIn, on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and of course, Facebook Live. So we're out there. However you decide to join us. And if you don't feel like remembering all those different platforms and you're old school, just go to the website, marketingpulpit.com. You can also join our business directory. It's very popular right now. Go to mpi.bz, or you can also go to marketingpulpit.com and just go to the website, and you'll see a link on the website on how to get in our business directory. We have a great support group of people who are supporting the show, and we're supporting them. People like D-Live Scan Fingerprints and Passports. They're one of our most recent sponsors. They provide notary services. They're out of Hyattsville, Maryland. You can find them at dlivescanmd.com. Call them at 240-828-8288. 8143, or just go to mpi.bz and you will see them on the homepage featured in our business directory. Platinum is already chiming in on what a great disappointment. I'm assuming she's referring to the most recent election we had on this past Tuesday. Yes, I think there's a sense of mourning and there's a pall hanging over many people right now. And that's why I'm going to tackle that today in my marketing sermon. So there's a lot. We have a lot to talk about today. We're also recognizing some observances during the month of November. We talked last week, we talked about gratitude and that this is a month of gratitude. And so we're going to keep that theme going. It's also American Diabetes Month. It's Lung Cancer Awareness Month. It's a long-term care awareness month. And it's also Veterans and Military Family Month. So we bring awareness to these different observances so that we can bring attention, educate the public, marshal the resources, and make sure that people who are affected get the attention they need and to tackle some of these challenges. We're going to get right to it. We're going to talk about some of the items in the news, which will lead us to our topic today. But to start off, we're going to talk about in the state of Maryland, Angela Also Brooks has been elected to be one of the senators representing the state of Maryland. An interesting story. I went to my brothers and I, we have a little singing group, and one day I was down in North Carolina. And as I came in the room, this lady she was waving her arms. She was like, hey, Robert, come over here, Gatewood, come over here. I need to talk to you. And she said, you know this lady up in Maryland that's running for office? I said, well, there's a lot of folks in Maryland running for office. And she said, well, there's a lady named Angela Also Brooks. I said, oh yeah, Angela Also Brooks. She's the county executive in Prince George's County. She said, that's your cousin. I did one of those, what you talking about, Willis? So she went through this whole thing about how my dad and somebody. So I thought it was interesting. So I'm not trying to jump on her glory, but I think we're all related somehow. But this lady swore up and down that Angela Also Brooks, the most recent senator from the state of Maryland, is somehow related to me through my dad and cousin, all that good stuff. So anyway, I'll accept it. But like I say, aren't we all related somehow or the other? And thanks again for the people who are tuning in. Somebody just said, good morning, Pastor Gatewood and the entire marketing pulpit congregation. I'll take that title. I mean, I'm not a religious minister, but I'm a minister of business. Now, the name Marketing Pulpit, of course, came through my dad. He was a Baptist minister, and when he was in hospice, I was looking for a name for the show. And so I recalled the many years he spent behind the pulpit and my sitting in front of the pulpit as a youngster. So I just named the show Marketing Pulpit in his honor. But I am not a minister. I don't claim to be. And that's why in my slogan, when I start off, I said, I'm not here to save souls. I'm here to save businesses. I have a different ministry. I've been doing that religiously, no pun intended, for about 30 years now. I've worked in corporate America. I wore all the titles, the vice president of this, the senior vice president of that, the marketing director of that. So I finally decided to go back to school and get myself a master's degree in business when I decided not to become an attorney. So this is my calling, this is my purpose, my raison d'etre, my reason for being. And I'm happy to wear this title. So to the Facebook user, your name didn't come up, by the way, whoever you are. It just says, good morning, Pastor Gatewood. Sounds like one of my followers, either Brother Gerald Brown or Brother Attorney Bradley Thomas. And I want to say happy heavenly birthday to Miss Terry Thomas. She was the wife of one of our most ardent supporters, Attorney Bradley Thomas, and today was her birthday. And so I want to say good happy birthday to her. And that was Attorney Thomas. Good morning, Attorney Thomas. And I'm just giving some birthday props to Terry, and just glad to recognize her and appreciate the support that you and her have given to me and the marketing pulpit in my company and me personally over the years. And so I just want to thank you during this month of gratitude. I just want to impart upon people it's okay to thank people. It's okay to be grateful, and don't miss opportunities to share gratitude that people have made an impact in your life. I keep a little mental Rolodex of people that have impacted me. It's a short list, but some of the names on the list would be surprising. They are all races, all ages, all backgrounds, religions, and they just come at different times when it seemed like I was at my lowest point. It seemed like there was some type of angel stepped in and picked me up and took me to that next level. And so I want to say once again, thank you to all those people who have been there. And I try to play it forward as much as I can. So once again, that's congratulations to Angela also Brooks, who will be representing the state of Maryland as one of the senators from the state, the great state of Maryland. Let's talk about some other items in the news. Also on this week, on November 5th, Donald Trump was reelected to be president of the United States. He won over Vice President Kamala Harris in a very much contested race. A lot of vitriol, a lot of going back and forth. The choice between the two candidates could not be more stark. But the former president triumphed in the end. But I kind of had a bad feeling on the couple of nights leading up to the election. I was confident that Sister Harris was going to win the race until that last couple of days when I started seeing those ads. The one that I knew was having an impact was the one about where they were accusing Sister Harris of spending money to have transplants in prisons and race transplants, sex change operations in prisons. And they played that on a loop. They had Charlemagne the God in the ad, and then they had She's With Them, and then had an ad that shows Trump, I'm with you. I said, that's pretty impactful. No matter how you feel about what, that's an impactful ad. And this is from somebody who's in marketing, and I kind of have my hand on the pulse of what kind of ads are effective and which ones are not. And they ran that ad. They ran it on during the football games on Sunday, and I think it had an impact on men. And I think it may have tamped down some of the turnout. So once again, we're at this point, and my commentary on this is that we're in a country that touts that it's a country of law and order. And I was reflecting last night. I was teaching a class. I teach a class at the Prince George's College in the DC area. And in every class that I teach, I have a slide or two that talks about ethics, legalities, and social responsibility. And so last night I was going through my course. The course was in the digital marketing program at Prince George's Community College. So I'm doing what I do. I've been doing this for 25 years, and always gotten to that point in the class where now it's time to talk about, so I've given the class all of these ways to target their audience, to sell their products, to brand, how to use social media. Then I get to the end of the course, and I notice I usually put this last because I want it to be more impactful. I say, in spite of all of this, whatever you do, I want you to remember to be ethical, to follow the law, and to engage in social responsibility. So when I was doing that last night, I had a funny feeling about this. I said to myself, am I selling my students down the river? We have just elected a president who lacks ethics, who has not followed the law, and has not been socially responsible. So I really had a funny feeling as I was teaching my class last night. And I'm sure that this feeling is being felt by families across the country as they speak to their children, as teachers speak to their students, or anybody who has the responsibility of influencing people in their charge. So that's why we're going to talk about later on this gut punch that many people have received this week. And I'm not going to get into the deep political. I think it's almost obvious which way I lean on the political pendulum. But this is a business show. This is a business development show. But we're not living in a vacuum either. Things that happen affect us all. So I'm going to do a few more items in the news, and then we're going to get into our sermon for today. We have some people that are commenting. According to Attorney Thomas, based on the numbers so far, the former president got just as many votes as he did last time, but Harris got 12 million fewer. So it is a good question. What happened to those 12 million people? Did they stay home? Were they affected by the ads? Were they turned off by something else? There's some, who knows what else could possibly happen. But anyway, that's going to be for some other people to analyze on another day. But I'm here today to help us deal with this gut punch. Okay, and I'm telling you something. I actually have a background in political science. That's what my undergraduate degree was in, political science. But when I chose to become a business developer, I've tried to leave politics at least on the fringe. You can't ever abandon it. I mean, as long as you're in this country, we are political animals. But today I'm just going to help us through this. And like I said, if you have an opinion one way or the other, feel free to drop your comments in the feed. We'll talk about it. So let's get to also one other story about a couple more news stories. Investors and leaders around the world have reacted to the election. The stock market went crazy. I mean, I had kind of funny feeling about that I didn't want to benefit off something that was not grounded in morality, but I do happen to have a few stocks out there. I did sell all my Tesla stock about a month ago. I just converted it all over to Apple. So here we are. One last news story. There's been a flurry of racist texts that have been floating out about threatening to put people back into slavery. This has started since the election. So many people have received texts on their phones. We've seen posts popping up on social media, on Instagram and other places. And the FBI is looking into it. The chairman of the NAACP has put out a statement condemning it. And so let's hope that this is not a harbinger of things to come as we go into this new cycle and this new administration of the Trump presidency. But we will see. What we're going to do, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back. We're going to talk about this gut punch. Is there a bright side of this gut punch? Regardless of how you feel about the election, is this punch in the gut? Is there a silver lining in this cloud? let's take a quick break. This is the Marketing Pulpit Show. I'm Robert Gatewood, your host. We're going to take a quick break and we'll be back in a moment. So hang on. Good morning and welcome back. This is the Marketing Pulpit Show. I'm Robert Gatewood, your host, and I'm here every Friday at 10:30 a.m. I bring you the good marketing gospel. This is a business development show. You can find out more about the show by going to marketingpulpit.com, and you can also get your name in our business directory, and we will shout you out on this show. We have quite a burgeoning list of members in the directory. You can join free. And then you can also upgrade if you want to get some advertising and become a sponsor, like many of our great followers have done. People like Attorney Bradley Thomas and Jill Brown and BLE Executive Suites and HBCU Leggings, and the list goes on and on. DC Live Scan. We really appreciate you for making this show possible. You can also go to Facebook and follow us. You can go to Marketing Pulpit. Also, let's follow us on our YouTube channel. YouTube channel is really hopping. We have all the shows there. You can pick a topic. You can search. You can see a thumbnail with the topic of the day. And there's also a description of what the show was about. And so if you are just following us for the first time, you can also do that on LinkedIn as well. So we're out there. You can also follow us on Instagram. We have a very, very large group of people following us on Instagram. And so we'll be glad to have you to join us. Let's talk about our topic for the day. So whether it's the past election or some type of tragedy or some type of unexpected or unthinkable occurrence, sometimes we call it a gut punch. It literally knocks the air out of you. But can this gut punch also be an opportunity for growth and self-reflection? One thing about a gut punch, the first thing, you want it to end. You want that feeling to go away as soon as possible. And the other thing, you want to make sure that it doesn't visit you anytime in the near future. So when you look at it that way, it can actually be helpful if you take some steps. So let's look at some steps how this gut punch can impact you going forward in the future in a positive way. So the first thing I want you to do, you get hit in the gut. You lose this air. And you basically fall into this almost a fetal position. You're bending over, basically. Well, straighten up. Exhale, catch your breath. Put up your dukes, cover your flank so you don't get hit again. That's the first thing you want to do. Because your adversary, and most of us know the best time to take somebody out is when they're already wounded. So you want to straighten up and get ready to fight off any follow-up knockout punch So there is no time to wallow or to linger in a position of defeat. You need to get up. That's the first thing. And if you still believe in what caused this punch, then be ready to fight back. But what I'm going to ask you to do is when you're ready to fight back, you've got to be strategic. It's hard to you individually to fight against a system. If it's the system that hit you in the stomach, hit you in the gut, doing that, going up against the entire system all at once is going to be a formidable task. So what you want to do is break it down into smaller, manageable missions. Almost take a guerrilla tactic. And you want to okay, I'm back. Yeah, so the computer had to do its thing. So that's the first thing. Straighten up. Don't wait on that final knockout punch and fight back. What you want to do also is control the controllables. You can't, when you're going up against something that's really bigger than you, there's some things going to be out of your control, but there are going to be many things that are within your control. Okay, so focus on the things that you can control that will have an impact. And you may have to go out and remember that you're not in this alone and marshal some resources. Don't hesitate to join forces with people and institutions that think like you do or who may have been similarly impacted. It's a big mistake to feel like you're in this by yourself, because you're not. And practice resiliency and perseverance. This is a good time to strengthen your backbone. So you took that blow. Some of us didn't see it coming. Well, it's here now. Don't get hit again, and figure out how to bounce back. And look at this as a wake-up call. Sometimes we go around with blinders on. We think things are a certain way, and when they're not. If you look at this country and its history, nothing should surprise you. And if you've been in that world of slumberland, well, this is a good time to wake up. You can't sleep through this. Wake up. There's some lessons to be learned. And it's okay to go ahead and allow some emotion to show. If you're sad, if you're angry, if you're happy. Expressing your emotions is not a bad thing. Just do it productively. Channel it into something positive. I want you to do this too. Take care of yourself. Resist the urge to go out and get drunk and start using drugs, and I'm going to lay in the bed all day, and I'm going to eat bonbons and Twinkies and potato chips for the next 2 weeks. No, you're just feeding your hand, and you're just feeding and playing into the hand of your adversary. You don't want to weaken yourself at this point. You want to build up your strength. You want to stay positive, stay focused. Now, on a few shows ago, we talked about gratitude. And even though you may have taken this punch in the gut, there's a lot of things that you still have to be grateful for. Don't lose focus of that now. Once again, if you do, you're playing into the hand of forces that are working against you. And remember this too, hardships and challenges are generally temporary. As the old saying, this too shall pass. So you want to stay resilient and keep pushing towards your aims, your purpose, your goals, knowing that there are better days ahead. There's even a saying in the Bible, it says, weep for the night, because joy cometh in the morning. So don't stay in that position. Okay? This is going to pass like everything else. You have to stay strong, because it's also up to you to help others who are suffering as well. Everybody is not as strong as you. Now imagine now, strong as you are, and if you've been listening to this show and following me, I know you are, because I know my listeners. Imagine those who are not as strong. Imagine some of our younger people who are very confused right now. Imagine some of the people who are not as strong mentally as you are. You have to be that pillar, that beacon of hope, that shining light to help them through this. And when you're focusing on helping other people, it also takes some of the focus and stress off of yourself. Be the change. Don't sit around cursing the darkness when you can light a candle. That cursing the darkness is not going to do you any good. Spend that time finding that light for yourself and others. And take heed that this, whatever we're going through right now, is just a blimp on the entirety of the universe. I mean, it doesn't even register. Hair. And how that old rabbit, he was just running circles around the tortoise, that turtle. And he thought he was going to win in the end. But he didn't. So this may be a time to take on the countenance of that tortoise. Okay, you may be ahead right now. You cutting flips, you popping champagne, you're relaxing, but you just keep on trugging. If you're on the right path and you believe in what you're doing, your cause is just, you believe in justice and fair play, just keep doing it. Don't let people change who you are, the fabric of who you are. I think Dr. King put it this way. He said, the arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends towards justice. So in closing, I'm going to say, hang in there. You fought the good fight. You took a punch in the gut, but you're not down. You're not out. As a song used to be, I used to listen to this guy. It probably wasn't his original quote, but it was Billy Ocean used to sing this song. When the going gets tough, the tough get going. Without sounding cliche, I can't think of a more appropriate quote to use at this time. And if you're looking for something else to hang on, just remember the quote that I use when I close out my show every week. I say, if you want to be successful, if you want to be the thing to work out in the end, always do the right thing. Do it at the right time, and you have to do it right. And I think today is no exception, and that's where I'm going to leave it. I want to thank you again for tuning in to the Marketing Pulpit Show. I'm Robert Gatewood, your host. And if you know somebody who's struggling right now, feel free to share this information with them. And yes, there are people right now. There's some people that are really, some people have hardly gotten out of bed since Tuesday. I mean, it's not a laughing matter, but it's a time for us to reach out and be that beacon of hope to inspire others to move on. Okay. That's going to wrap it up for today. I want to thank you again. We have Veterans Day coming up. To all the veterans out there who laid it on the line, appreciate you. I have several in my family. So we'll see you next week on the Marketing Pulpit. I'm Robert Gatewood, your host, and we are here every Friday at 10:30 a.m. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in, particularly the new people, and much love to my loyal listeners. I'll be back next week, so don't go anywhere. Don't go far. Keep this, bookmark this, share it with others, and do follow us on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on Instagram, and on YouTube. And we will see you next week. And I'm going to say it one more time. I think Mr. Brown always helps me, one of my loyal listeners. If you want to be successful, you have to do these three things. Do the right thing, do it at the right time, and you have to do it right. Enough talk. Let's get to work.